I rented the Fuji X100VI for a weekend in Washington, D.C. I was in town for my first WNBA game and wanted to document my experience. Here are a few photos from the pregame brunch, the game itself, and a little walk I took along the Anacostia River. To keep things simple, I put the camera in aperture priority mode. On a Fuji camera, this means putting the ISO and shutter speed on auto, and then just adjusting my aperture. This isn't the first Fuji camera I've owned. I'm a proud X-T4 owner and love the camera. However, it's still too big for many sporting and music event venues and too heavy to be an everyday camera. So I wanted to see if the Fuji X100VI could be the camera I'm looking for to document my everyday life. The Fuji X100VI is cute for places you can't bring your normal camera. It also meets the requirements of big venues that want a camera without a detachable lens. Thought I wouldn't like this feature as much, but I actually didn't mind punching in to 50mm and the 70mm modes as much as I thought I would. This camera is super fun to use, as most people will tell you, and it weighs almost nothing, so I could carry it all day. Now, the not so great things. The battery door is faux lensy. That's also where your SD card goes, so I would want to have more confidence in that door latching on tightly. You have to use the menu system for a lot. Going back and forth between photo and video in particular requires you to dive into the menu system. This is the first camera I've had that's had a megapixel count over 26, and when you're shooting in 40 megapixels, it is unforgiving if you miss focus. It's very noticeable and requires you to get better at focusing very, very quickly. The files are huge and even cause my M1 MacBook Pro to slow down a bit while editing. Ultimately, the last con, which is definitely a me thing, it's definitely a personal thing. Even after a weekend, I still just don't love the 35mm focal length for an everyday carry camera. I hate to say that I'm loyal to the 40 to 50 mega range for everyday use, but I just feel way more comfortable with that. I get a lot more of the shots that I want with that focal length. I'm glad I got to rent it and try it and have some memories from my first WNBA game, but ultimately, I don't think it's the everyday camera for me. So what did I end up buying? I ended up purchasing the Lumix GX7. I've used a micro four thirds camera before, and with the 20mm f1.7, which is effectively a 40mm lens, I've been loving it. I think the Fuji X100VI helped me realize that I don't need a 40 megapixel everyday camera. Sorry, Leica Q2. And lo-fi images are just fine for me. The file sizes are too big for regular shooting, and I can manage with a camera with less than 26 megapixels, to be honest. I like the sensor and the colors that I'm getting when editing with the Lumix GX7, and I'm excited to spend more time with it before reviewing it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the photos, and I hope this helps you along your purchasing decision if you're looking for the Fuji X100VI. If you're doing a lot of just everyday photography, highly recommend it. If you're looking for a hybrid photo and video camera for social and for photos, I would probably go with something else. Well, anyways, that's all for me. Happy creating.